Today on the podcast, we are talking about virtual summits and how they can really up-level your business, whether you attend them or you present at them. Today we have Lauren Fulton and Brooklyn McCarley, a dynamic duo behind Teacher Summits that bring educators and teacher business owners together for impactful learning and growth. They help entrepreneurs leverage summits to expand their reach, build authority, and grow their business. And we talk about 2 summits that they have coming up that you can attend or be a presenter at. And I'm telling you, I was a presenter. I talk about this in the episode. I was a presenter at a virtual conference back in 2020, and I really think that was one of the main things that skyrocketed my growth for one of my first online course launches, so they can really make a huge impact. Let's go ahead and listen to the episode. Welcome back, everyone, to the Digital Product Mama podcast. I am your host, Lindsay Bowden, and I have 2 of my very favorite teacherpreneurs here. We've never met in real life, but hopefully one day we will, but we have been online friends for a really long time. I have Lauren and Brooklyn with me today, and we're going to be talking about online or virtual teacher summits and how they can really up-level your teacher business. So welcome, guys. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I'm
Thank you
excited.
for having us. Yeah,
So excited to dive into everything. So let's just quickly start. I want to introduce both of you individually and let you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself so they know who you are and how you help people. So Lauren, if you want to start.
sure. My name's Lauren Fulton. I've been working in the teacher online business owner space for the last 9 years. Started with selling resources on TPT and then moved into coaching and helping other teacher business owners grow their businesses, and then started partnering with Brooklyn and doing a lot of other cool stuff.
And y'all do all the things. I'm
All the
excited to talk
things,
about it
all
because
the things. Yeah.
I feel like every month y'all are doing something new. I'm like, ah, they're awesome. Okay, Brooklyn, what about you?
Yeah, so my name is Brooklyn, and I started teaching in 2015. So I started out as an elementary school teacher and then transitioned to the middle school math world. And that's how I met Lauren, actually through Instagram, which we have met a few times in real life, which I think is pretty cool. And
hmm
yeah, so I started hosting and co-hosting like different math events with her. And then the last couple of years, she's got me to branch out a little bit and collaborate with her on some email marketing for teachers because that's something that I've kind of gotten a little good at. So yeah, so that's me.
Very cool. Okay, ladies, so let's start with the basics then of a summit. What is a summit, and specifically a virtual summit? So this is not an in-person summit. People can watch from their couches. And how can they serve teacher business owners?
Basically, think about any possible like good conference that you've been to, like you walked away and it was just amazing and you walked away so excited, like, oh my goodness, this is something that I can actually use right away, maybe in my classroom, or if it wasn't specifically about teaching, just in general. Lauren and I basically wanted to bring that to a virtual setting. We wanted people to watch a session, walk away with something practical they could use. And that's really, I think, why ours are so special and so good. We've had anywhere from 20 presenters to over 40 presenters to do a mixture of some pre-recorded sessions as well as some live sessions as well that people can attend. But it's really cool because we actually have people from all over come. And so I think it's really amazing that we've just connected with so many people with it being virtual and not having to physically be somewhere. So what did I leave out, Lauren?
No, I think that that's perfect. Like that's exactly what it is. It just creates opportunities to build relationships and to learn in the same way that you would with an in-person PD or an in-person business conference, because we service both sides, like both teachers who want professional development and business owners who are looking to expand and grow their business, but offering it to them virtually, which is so much more affordable, which is really great.
Yeah, I feel like the virtual conference thing really took off in 2020 when people could not go to conferences, but then they stuck around because it's such a great way to get that, big takeaway like you guys are talking about without having to pay for travel and finding a babysitter and all of that stuff. So I love virtual conferences. I love to attend them. I also love to present at them, and I feel like both could be really great for up-leveling a teacher business. You guys have a conference for teacher business owners, and I think a teacher business owner could participate in that and get a lot from it. But then I also want to talk about the presenter side too and how that could up-level their business. So can you walk through how speaking at a summit, being a presenter at a summit, can help teacherpreneurs build their brand and expand their business?
having a little bit of a conversation about this earlier, just kind of going through and looking at, some of the people that we've had before. And we were both kind of realizing just the consistency of showing up. So maybe just you really being organic with your audience and showing up, year after year. We've had people that have done this 2, 3, 4 times, with us now. And they're really building that like, no trust factor with their audience. So I think that's something that's a little bit under the radar that I hadn't even really thought about until we were having this conversation about how important that is to build that consistency. And I mean, obviously the exposure.
Yeah, it's a really great opportunity, especially for people. And I would say there's like two ways to view this. Like if you already have an established audience and you already have someone to market a summit like this to, it's a really great opportunity to, yes, build exposure, but also make money. And then if you're newer, a lot of the things that I hear when I'm working with teacher business owners is I'll say something like, well, you survey your audience, talk to your people. And they're like, I don't have an audience. I don't have people. And this is a really great way to build your audience, to get feedback from people, and to engage and build that, like Brooklyn said, know, like, and trust factor. A lot of times, if you're a teacher and you're still in the classroom or you're a homeschool mom and you're juggling all the homeschooling and everything like that, maybe you have in your mind that, oh, maybe hosting a workshop or something like that would be really nice. This is a really great way to do it, but without nearly as much effort on your part, and you're not having to source and find your own people. So you can take that workshop idea that you've had in your brain to put out there for people, and you can get a really good feel for whether or not that's going to be something that people are interested in, gauge a level of interest, and then from there, piggyback and make sales for your product. So one of the things that we encourage people to do within our Math Summit is we encourage them to create a presentation that lines up with one of the product lines in their store. So something that they sell. So like, for example, Brooklyn did one year, she has a line of warm-ups or bell work. So she did a presentation on how to do spiraled warm-ups inside of your classroom. Brooklyn can talk a little bit more about this later, but like she started selling so many warm-ups and she didn't even have them made yet. And so that was something that without paying someone, because at the time she didn't have time to start creating all of them from scratch, she was able to gauge like, oh, wow, there's a really high level of interest here. This is going to be worth me investing my time in creating them, and or investing, paying somebody else to create these warm-ups for me, and I'm going to get that return on my investment. So being able to like gauge interest is a really great way. Like even if you're small and you're like, well, I'm probably not going to make very much money in, say, affiliate revenue or things like that. It's a great way to gauge interest. It's a great way most of the time to grow your audience, because most conferences, and if they don't, I probably wouldn't be a part, but most of them will allow you to include an email opt-in or something like that that goes along with your session, so you can collect email addresses as well.
Yeah, that's so smart. It's such a great way to build your email list. I participated in my first virtual conference back in 2020, and I was very like, no one knew who I was back then, and not that people know who I am now, but I was like just getting started, and I was presenting with some really, really big names, like the big names on TPT. And I remember that grew my email list like crazy and really skyrocketed me to my first big course launch. So it can really be a great way to get exposure, because you're getting in front of, like Lauren said, even if you have a small audience, that audience, but also other people are going to be advertising this conference. So you're getting in front of other people's audiences without having to do things like ads or, post on Instagram. And I will say I participated in virtual conferences that Lauren and Brooklyn have organized, and they are so easy to work with. They have everything super organized. Like they have videos showing you exactly what to do, timelines. I mean, it is like a teacher's dream. So it's very easy to work with them. And I've been in other conferences where it's not like that. So you want to find a conference where you don't have to do a lot of legwork. Everything is kind of already set up for you. Okay, so let's back up then a minute and talk about like what conferences do you guys offer that teachers can present at?
We have two.
Okay.
So the first would be for Summer Math Summit, and that is just math teachers, like third grade math all the way through high school, kind of where we're specialized in for that. And then we have another one, which is Teacher Seller Summit, not to be confused with Teacher Seller Growth Summit, which came after us. And a lot of people get those confused. But
Oh
Teacher
no.
Seller Summit, the better option, although I am biased on that. But anyway, that's just a joke. But with Teacher Seller Summit, we service teacher business owners in the online space. So anyone who's looking specifically to grow their TPT business or to expand out beyond TPT with courses, digital products, maybe putting their resources on Shopify or WooCommerce, things like that. We have all kinds of specialty presentations to help them grow on social media or just, wherever, kind of more niche areas
You
of
guys
business.
are still looking for presenters for both of those, correct?
For Summer Math Summit, Teacher Seller Summit is full,
Oh,
but
great.
we do have, I don't know if we're ready to talk about this yet, but we do have sponsorship opportunities, which is another way to be involved in summits if you're not wanting to be a presenter.
That's great. Yeah. So, first of all, if you are a teacher business owner, which if you're listening to this podcast, you probably are, and you're like, well, I don't want to present or I don't know anything to present about, even I'm not a math teacher, so I can't do the math one, then just attend the conference. Like it's going to really up level you because there are so many different types of, trainings that could apply to so many different people. So get a ticket to that. But yeah, let's talk about the sponsorships and how that works.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because I think it's something that a lot of our presenters are really excited about every year whenever we do this. And it was Lauren's kind of like idea. And she was like, do you think it's a big idea? And I'm like, yes, this will feel like an amazing idea for people. So basically, we have what I think of as like a small prize and a big prize that sponsors can give away. So we get to choose from out of all of our attendees. We love giving away prizes. That's one thing about Lauren and I. Like we love surprises. We love giving them away. And so we will choose random participants like for the conference and they will win a prize from one of our sponsors. So we have people give away like a free year-long membership. Like if they have a membership, they might give away access for free for a whole year. They may have a whole like digital goodie bag of like fonts and templates, like worth $300, and like you get that for free. It's like it's really cool and it's so exciting. We've even had people give away free consultations that are worth like $400 or $500, like one-on-one coaching calls, all those things. And then we also have our sponsors that we bundle up all of their kind of like smaller prizes, as I kind of like Lauren and I kind of call it. And that is kind of like your digital swag bag that you get to download. And that's for like everyone that attends the conference, period, with a paid ticket gets to download that for free. And we have a whole little section where we have your information. We link to any platform that you want to be linked to on our whole sponsorship page and a nice picture of you and all the things about you. And then we also shout you guys out whenever we're doing like our live events because we have several live events throughout the course of the 4-day conference. Did I leave anything out, Lauren?
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
it's a great way to get your product or service in front of people, especially if you're, say, you do clip art or fonts or something that, you might not feel like, well, what can I present on? Like, what can I do? It's a really great way to get your product in the hands of other people and to do that without any kind of time commitment because you can just donate it. You know what I mean? Like, here it is. And if nothing ever comes of this, you know what I mean? Then you haven't really, I don't want to say lost anything because I don't feel like you lose anything when you present, but it's a very low commitment. It's a very low level of commitment. And most conferences, even if they don't advertise having sponsorships, they're really excited if you approach them and say, "Hey, I would love to give this away to all of your attendees," and it's free
Wow.
exposure for your brand,
Yeah.
which is really awesome. So that's actually where the idea came from is someone approached us and said, "Hey, I'd love to be a sponsor." And
Mm.
we were like, "Well, we've never really thought about that before." And so then we were able to kind of open up the door to others to sponsor as well.
So smart. I love that. So are you guys still looking for sponsorships?
We're still
Absolutely.
looking for sponsorships. So if you have a product or service that teacher business owners would like, then we would love. for you to be a sponsor.
I think I have some things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And for us, it costs like $0. We're not like charging you to be a sponsor. We're
Right.
really happy like if you're donating something. So yeah.
Yeah. And like you said, it's great exposure without having to do the time commitment of creating 45-minute, training. Good job, Brooklyn. You're so smart.
Hey, we try. Our brains together, we try.
I love it. Y'all are awesome. Okay. So, all right. So sponsorships. That's great. Now, do y'all do sponsorships for the math summit as well?
We don't currently because
Okay.
currently the sponsor is our membership.
Okay.
So our membership sponsors it. And so that kind of allows us to put the primary focus on the offer that we want to have at the end of it. We're not
Yeah.
opposed to it, maybe further on down the line, but I think it's just a little bit easier to find people who want to donate things for teacher business owners than it
Right.
is, people who just want to, donate random math resources. So yeah.
Right. Right. That makes sense. So let's go on to the next question then. So you've helped teacher business owners generate over $1 million in revenue. What are some of the biggest success stories or transformations you've seen from those who have leveraged summits?
Lauren and I were talking a little bit about this earlier, like when she kind of referenced like the bell work that we were talking about.
Yeah.
So like I had made this bell work for my own classroom in when I was teaching seventh grade at the time. And I had never posted it or anything because I thought there's so much bell work out there. It's very saturated. But I thought this would actually be a really cool session because I'm going to, show teachers, I'm going to give them this template, this editable template. I'm just going to kind of teach them my method and then they can kind of like go like make their own like for their classroom. So in my video, like I just kind of talked about doing it like in my seventh grade classroom and people just started commenting and they're like, wait, if you have this made for seventh grade, like I just want to buy yours. And
Mhm.
it kept going and going. And so I rushed together and like I posted it because like I already had it made. So I just kind of had to, add all the copyright things and make a cover and just all those things.
Yeah.
And then people just started commenting like, oh, well, can you make it for sixth grade? Because the platform that we use, they can like comment like on the sessions and things. And
Okay.
oh, well, could you make it for eighth grade? Oh, and so now that was in 2022 maybe, or 2021. It's all a blur. 2022 maybe. I have it for fifth grade through algebra 2, and I've made like multiple five figures from it because it's my bestseller. Like it took off and I never ever that never would have happened if I hadn't presented at the summer math summit because I just thought nobody like needs a bell work idea. Like there's already so many, but I had a little twist on mine and it was kind of unique. So I think it really shows like, don't undervalue your ideas. Like if something is actually working for you, especially if you're in a teacher in a classroom and you've done something that really worked for your kids, don't undervalue that. Cause I definitely sat on that for I had already been doing it for a couple of years. So I feel like personally, that's probably one of my best success stories, like just myself in doing the conferences with Lauren, because it skyrocketed. It was mind blowing.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I do feel like what you said about even if you feel like the market is saturated or like no one would necessarily want to hear about this, I really feel like practical PD that teachers can like take and use right away is missing. Like I never had practical PD, especially math. I feel like
Oh,
math specifically. I never had something where I'm like, oh, I can go use this in my classroom today. It was all like mindset and fluff.
yeah.
And I just really think that if you're doing something special in your classroom that's working with your students, then that deserves to be shared. And teachers are the best person to
Yes.
put on professional development, not like people that work for the county office that haven't been in a classroom in 20 years. So,
Absolutely. And I think
yeah,
too, we're such problem solvers. Like I started it talking about these are all the problems I've had with all the bell works I've tried from even my
yeah,
favorite sellers. So I just kind of started doing this and I think it really resonated with them. And so especially if you're doing something that you feel like is solving a problem that you've had, teachers are all about that. Like we're problem solvers. So yeah,
that's incredible.
absolutely.
Yeah, so if you're a math teacher, they still need presenters at their math summit, third through 12th grade, right? So
Yes.
we will definitely put the information to reach out to these ladies in the show notes. So I love that. Lauren, anything to add for success stories?
I mean, I think the success stories just kind of vary. You kind of have we have people who participate and they make, thousands of dollars each summer from participating in one summit or the other. but that's not necessarily the norm. That's not to say that somebody who, has a really small audience is going to make thousands of dollars. But I think if you just know what your goal going into a summit is, like there's a benefit for everyone to just, it doesn't really matter what level you're at.
Yeah, I agree. So, for business owners who are hesitant to put themselves out there as summit speakers, I kind of feel like we just covered this, but are there any practical steps you would offer to help them take the leap and make the most out of this opportunity?
I think it circles back to like if you are afraid to speak, try the sponsorship. Like let that be like your baby step towards, kind of jumping in. I
Yeah.
think it's a great opportunity, but also there's no reward without the risk. So just, if I can do it, anybody can do it. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I love that. And I just kind of want to like go over the action steps here because I feel like we covered a lot and you guys have two different conferences. So first, if you are a teacher business owner, which is pretty much everyone listening to this podcast, sign up for the Teacher Seller Summit. If you help teacher business owners in any capacity, then reach out to Lauren in Brooklyn about being a sponsor for the Teacher Seller Summit, offer clip art or a digital product or anything related to helping teacher business owners. That will be step number two. Step number three, if you are a math teacher, third through 12th grade, and you want to present, then reach out to them about presenting. Now, when is that conference? Is that in the summer?
But
It
they're
is.
both end of June. Yeah.
End of June. Okay. All right. And then also buy a ticket to the math conference if you are a math teacher in the classroom and you want practical, real tips from real teachers about being the best math teacher that you can be. And yeah, I really think that conferences, both attending them virtually and being a presenter at them, is such a good way to uplevel your business. Anything that we want to add to that?
I don't think so. Although we do have free options for both. So
Oh, yeah.
definitely go check it out. And teachersellersummit.com, summermathsummit.com, like both of them will get you to where you want to be.
I love that. And so you have free tickets and then you have like VIP kind of tickets?
Hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're really excited that this year for TSS is the first time we're offering a free ticket, and we're really excited about that.
I love that. That's great. And also I feel like this might be common knowledge, but just in case it isn't, if you're a presenter and you sell a ticket to your audience, then you get an affiliate portion of that ticket price, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yep.
that's a great incentive also. So not only are you getting exposure, but you're also making some money. So it's the best of both worlds. So I love that. Okay, well, this is awesome. I love conferences, so I'm so glad that you two came on to talk about this today. So I always ask my guests this, what is one act of generosity that you've done or plan to do? You can say it together or separately. Offering the summit for free, that's one I feel like. That's amazing.
We're pretty excited to be able to do that for the first
Yeah.
time. Although, like, I would definitely say that's business motivated. So
Yeah.
as you definitely want to be, but I want to temper it with that. Like, we are generous people, but we're also business people. So
Yeah.
there's definitely that part of it.
Yeah.
I think for me, like, I'm not a huge fan of talking about like finances. I'm just really weird
Yeah.
about that. But
Yeah.
an act of generosity that I'm really proud of. And I'm saying this as like my kids are literally like about to lose their mind in the background.
Yep.
But like I'm really proud of the fact that like I get to be generous with my kids. Like they get to be home with me. Like and we get to do things together. And that's not something that I ever really thought was going to be possible, at least not at this level. So I think that act of generosity, it's ongoing, but it's something I'm really proud of and really grateful that the business has been able to support.
Yeah, that's incredible. I feel that. Brooklyn, anything to add?
I help sponsor some missionaries of mine. And also, I was telling Lauren earlier, my heart for animals is so
No.
big. It is bigger than the average person. And I do donate to some people that I know that do some active some animal crises in large cities, kind of like with their recovery and such. So that's just where my heart is. So those two things are kind of what's ongoing for me right now.
I love that. And I
I'll
love
make
that.
a donation to that.
Yeah, I love that the income that we make can allow us to be more generous. That's where my heart is. So I love that. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, so Lauren, you said the links before, but can you say them one more time for the two conferences, and then we'll put them in the show notes as well.
Sure. So it's teachersellersummit.com for the Teacher Business Owner Summit. And the that website will be live April 1st.
Okay.
If you go now, it should be a wait list and you can sign up for the wait list. And then summermathsummit.com. And then same thing there. That one will go live is it April 15th, right, Brooklyn? April 15th.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
We
sure.
we got a little few too many things going on sometimes and we can't remember our dates straight, but April 15th. And if you go there before then there's a then it'll be a link to sign up and join the wait list. Yeah.
Okay, and if they have questions or they want to present or be a sponsor, what's the best way to contact you guys? Instagram or email?
Instagram will work, email will work. We also sent you the links to both the forms. So a form for sponsorship and then a form to sign up if they want to be a presenter at Summer Math Summit. And so that's probably the easiest and best way.
Amazing. So we will make sure all of that is in the show notes. Well, thank you, ladies, so much. This is amazing. And we will see you guys next week. Bye bye.
Bye.